Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to More Trades, where trading is made simple. We try to make trading as simple as possible. Today I'm going to go into the Bitcoin chart and I'm going to show you a trade setup that I took around the 5th of May. It was a short from around $40,100 and I made 2,000%, more than 2,000% in less than 2 weeks. I mean, it took me 8 days to do this. That's 37%. I'll explain to you how I exited to 2000%. And that took from here, the 4th of May, till the 12th of May. That's about, 8 days. It took me 8 days to make that. Well, I'm going to show you the trade setup and why I took this trade. So if you look here on the daily chart, at around just over here, just before we had the drop at this candle at around 47,200, I drew a trend line. I drew it down, and as you can see, I drew it down, and every time we touch it, I mean, the candle's not, the trend line's not perfect, but we could go this way. And you can see over here we popped up and we came back into it. The next candle, also the next day, we pumped above it and went back down. This is on the daily time frame. So when we go on the smaller time frames, things will be a bit clearer. Let's go on the 1 hour chart. Let's look at the 1 hour chart on the 4th of May. You can see that over here we actually pumped through. We had a fake out and we came back down. So that's my first thing to look at, my trend line. I drew a trend line and I could see that we respected it over here, and we broke through it and came back in. Now, what made me take this trade? For starters, I like using EMAs, so that's exponential moving averages, and I use it in conjunction with the MACD. So a safer trade would be waiting for this crossover over here. You see it says EMA cross in red, and then once that crosses, you take it on the next candle that opens and closes below the 8 EMA, and you write it down. So you'd have gotten in somewhere around here at around 36, and you would take it down all the way to 25,186 on Binance futures. So my confluence, the one I use, what I like to do is, once I see a cross on my MACD and my EMA, I like to take my trade. So over here you could see we crossed over here, the EMAs crossed over here, the MACDs crossed earlier, which showed me momentum was dying out and we started forming this flat top, and it was declining. I got in a bit more aggressively. I took the chance and I got in over here. But if you look at higher time frames, if we go on the 4th of May on the same chart over here, you could see we had the 200 EMA also above. So I knew even if we pumped higher, we would have the 200 EMA on a different time frame. So that's how I took the trade. I basically looked for the EMA cross and the MACD cross, which shows momentum is crossing and going to the downside, and the 200 EMA on a higher time frame, and the trend line. But to keep it simple, you could have used the trend line and the EMA cross and the MACD. Once you have three confluences, or even 2, then you know you're good for the trade. Now, how did that convert to 2000%? I got in over here. As I said, there was a drop of 37%, and I went in with a leverage of 73x on Binance. 73 multiplied by 37 would give you around 2100%, maybe a bit more. So that trade I took profit at around 33k. I expected that would be probably a reversal, actually around here, 34k. I took my profits and I let the rest ride, and I'm still in my trade. So as long as the trade is here, I'm doing good. And I moved my stops. So when I got into the trade, I had my stops above about 1 ATR. At that point, I believe the ATR was around 300. So it would have been, my stop loss would have been around 40,350. And I moved my stops once we were at these lows at around 32.6. Once we broke 32.6, I knew that 32.5, 32.6 is a good point, a good resistance. And if Bitcoin decides to rally and we break that 32.5, then there's a high possibility we're going to go higher. But at the moment, my stops are at 32.5. Even if price reverses and stops me out, I'm still in a good profit. So yeah, that's how I made 2000% in just 8 days, and I'm still riding it and hoping to make more profits going down. That's my tip. Hope it was useful and helpful, especially to new traders. And if you like the video, please like and subscribe. I'll post more updates.